Good afternoon, morning, evening, night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, of course, to another review. I'm your host, as always, Purple Midnight 8, joined once again, as always, by Amelia, the Obsidian Nook, whatever you want to call her. This week, of course, as you can read and you can see the thumbnail, we are covering Ted.
No, they can't see that on the recording.
At the time of recording, they can't even see us recording. Amelia is eating chocolate brownie Oreos. I don't know if that picked that up. If that did, I'm really creeped out, but I heard it. Of course, this is Amelia's week. This is Amelia's movie this week or today. I keep forgetting we do two a week. So she decided with Ted. We've gone with the unrated version. It's apparently like 6 minutes longer, but it's just pointless little scenes. I don't know if she wants to say anything. Her mouth is full of Oreos, so. Amelia's seen this film about a million times. I've weirdly only seen it a few times.
I love this film. It's the best.
Yeah, this is your number three spot as of this video being out on our letterboxd. So yeah, we'll get right into it, of course. Spoilers ahead for this 11-year-old film. 11 years. But Jesus,
I would have been 16.
I would have been 11. I am a child. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, you would have been 16. I would have been 11. That's 5 years, dumbass. Anyway,
There's me being at the age. No, I'm not gonna say what to say. Actually.
yeah, maybe keep that to yourself. She was at an age. I apologise if I'm not 100% this week. I've just had a couple of days of being in absolute agony. Don't overshare.
He's had a period.
I've had my period, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, if I'm not my usual jokey self, Amelia will be her usual quiet self, making the occasional yeah. But yeah, so we'll get right into it, of course. As I say, we're covering Ted. The first of two, surprisingly not done anymore. I don't know why. Maybe the second one wasn't as financially good for them. But I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe people got sick of Seth MacFarlane, but I can't even say that because he's still doing Family Guy. So it can't be that sick.
I love Family Guy.
Yeah, she used to watch that with Silver all the time when she was having like a bad night and she just wanted to chill with the cat. Bless him. Is it because you're lazy and you just want to relax? Sitting up is too much for you. Nope. Anyway, we'll get into it. So, as mentioned, this film was directed by Seth MacFarlane as well as stars him in it. This is his directorial debut. So this is his first film he's directed, which of course he's obviously done all the Family Guy and American Dad and the Cleveland Show and that, but this is his first film he's directed. He's done other films, more live action ones. He also did the Million Ways to Die in the West, I think it's called. I can't remember, so forgive me. Let me have a look. Family Guy, The Orville. Oh yeah, I forgot. Ted 2, Logan Lucky. Yeah, he's done a few. It's also written by him, Alex Sulkin and Wills. They all came off of Family Guy. They're the writing crew, so you know the sort of humour you're getting from if you've ever seen Family Guy. If you haven't seen Family Guy, just go on TikTok. That's it.
Stewie's a big meme at the moment. Crib being like, "Come back and love me."
It's not a big meme. What is the current meme at the moment to really set this up as a time? I know there's the cat that's staring off into the distance. We're not talking about the submarine again. The submarine is now a dead meme.
Bear with me, guys.
Oh yeah, we'll cover that when we get to it. But there's a joke in here that's very untimely as of recent events. So Yeah, we'll cover that when we get to it. But what is a current meme? I can't even think of. I think the cat is currently the one, the black cat that stares off into the distance. But other than that, no, I don't think there's anything else. So yeah, we'll get into it now. Spoilers ahead for this, as I say, 11-year-old film that also has a sequel. So if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix, I believe, because that's where I stole the thumbnail from. That's usually where I do if I can. Because it's the perfect aspect ratio for a thumbnail. So I'm always happy to nick them if they have it there. As long as it doesn't have the big N on it, then I'm happy to nick it. Unless, of course, it is a Netflix film. We haven't covered many Netflix films. I think we've only done that crappy classic horror story.
Mm.
Other than that, I think we're yet to cover some more.
No, didn't we do the army one, the zombie one that
Oh, Army of the Dead, yeah. We'll cover Army of Thieves eventually. But bought a bunch of DVDs, so we want to get. Ted wasn't one of them, but immediately just you did not have to. Did you try putting Ted into the search on your phone? She's on the library website and she just put she put Ned in.
was trying to my reserves like and go just put Ned.
It's like Ned. Yeah, that's the spin-off called Ned. Anyway, so in a narrated opening in 1985 during Christmas, does that make it a Christmas film? The entire film isn't set around Christmas, but Christmas is in it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. It brings up the old Die Hard a Christmas movie debate because it's set on It's like set on Christmas Eve, I think.
Yeah, but the thing is, I watch this like any time of the year.
Yeah, it's like is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween film or a Christmas film?
Halloween.
Nightmare Before Christmas is it a Christmas? Thanks for that.
I haven't seen it.
Have you not seen a Nightmare? You know Jack Skellington. Skellington.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm having to show you this. The Tim Burton animated one.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. Well, that's why I didn't watch it. But
God, you watch so much and you hate everything you watch, except for like your 4 indie films that you're obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
Your 4 films that were made on a budget of about £2 and 20p. Someone had to buy 4 or 5p lollies. Anyway, it's 1985. It's Christmas Eve, I think. John Bennett, who at the time is played by Bretton Manley, who doesn't have many credits, but I thought I'd mention him here. This is probably the film he's most known for. He opens a Christmas present from his mother, who is played by Alex Borstein. She does a lot of Family Guy stuff and also voices Lois. And her father, who's played by Ralph Garman, who does a load of voices on Family Guy as well. The present is a teddy bear who he names Ted, a very original name. I can see you. They got the inspiration from you and your pet now. So yeah, they both share the love of Flash Gordon, which I had to explain to you is a real thing, not invented for this. And then when I showed you it briefly, you were like, "What the fuck?" When he wishes for Ted to be able to speak, a shooting star overhead flies. Very conveniently, of course, but it's a Christmas miracle. Granting his wish. When he wakes the next day, he finds a sentient Ted waiting for him. And when he tries to show his parents, who in the unrated version have a scene where they talk about how his mum gave his dad a blowjob the previous evening, and that is not in the theatrical release, but they thought it was necessary enough to stick it in the unrated version. It was very weird when I found that out, because I sort of looked up for a comparison, and it was just like, there is a scene where man thanks woman for blowjob. And apparently in the intro where they beat up this ginger Jewish kid, I think that was extended as well. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Seth MacFarlane really has something against Jews. If you've seen Family Guy, he doesn't like. Well, he makes fun of them a lot. I don't know if he was raised Jewish or something like that, so he likes to make fun of it, or if he just weirdly has some sort of vendetta. Oh, yeah, so obviously when he tries to show his parents, they are understandably terrified of this fucking monstrosity. This teddy bear that can actually walk and talk. The news reports on Ted and his story is shared worldwide, with Ted appearing on several talk shows. One of them, which doesn't appear in the theatrical cut, in one of the news reports, a Japanese man bitch slaps a woman. That's it. They thought they'd stick that in. It's the DVD. You need your bonus. A boy named Donnie begs to be given Ted, but is denied by his negligent father. During a storm, Ted and John make a pact to be Thunder Buddies for life. Lots of stuff there that will come back later on, but we'll cover that when we get to it. 27 years later, John, who is now played by Mark Wahlberg, as I said to you, Marky Mark, as he was previously known when he was younger. He's famous for, well, everyone knows who Marky Mark is. Transformers, Uncharted, loads of really crappy action movies. Planet of the Apes, The Other Guys, Scoob, he was in Scoob.
I did not know that even.
Mm.
That surprises me.
Everyone knows who Mark Wahlberg is. He's got that face that you just know. He's also famous for The Departed as well. I watched that and I didn't like that film. They tried to get me to watch it in college, I think. I think our teacher told us all to watch a bunch of movies that are like really popular because he liked them, and then we watched them and most of us hated them. It was an experience. So yeah, John, of course, Marky Mark, is doing drugs with Ted, who's now voiced by Seth MacFarlane, of course, the Family Guy man, as he shall be known. Ted drives Johnny to work where his boss, Thomas, who is played by Matt Walsh. He's a big character actor. I can't remember where I recognise him from, though. Can't remember. Either that or he looks like someone else. He was in The Do-Over, which is an Adam Sandler. Step Brothers, Get Hard. Oh, God, Get Hard. It's like Will Ferrell used to be funny, and Kevin Hart was never funny. As we discussed in the Scary Movie 3, let me go back to my cast list so I know who I'm talking about when I get to them. Right, here we are. Cool. Who disciplines him for being late and brags about knowing someone named Tom Skerritt. We're English. We don't know who Tom Skerritt is. I still don't know. He plays himself in this film. He's actually in it. I don't know who he is. He was in MASH. I know what that is. He was in Alien. Really? In that case, I should know who he is. I feel bad for not knowing who he is. I think he was. Yeah, he was Dallas. Of course he was. I recognise him in a younger picture, but he's too old there. He turns more into the guy who owns Richard Branson. I think that's his name, the guy who owns Virgin. Anyway, I'm going on side tangents. Guy, who's played by Patrick Warburton, he's in a lot. He's mainly known for his voiceover work, but if you've seen Family Guy, it's the voice of Joe. It's the voice of Kronk from Emperor's New Groove. In Mr. Peabody and Sherman, Men in Black 2, Hoodwinked. I remember. I'd never seen that film, but I see it all the time. Chicken Little. He's big. He's a big voice actor. He's got a very recognisable voice. If you know, you may not know the face, but you know the voice. He's in the B movie as well as the douchebag boyfriend. That's probably where people will know him from. So a guy who was a colleague of Johnny's has been beaten up after going to a club, and they both talk about him possibly being gay. We'll get into that a bit later on when we have an cameo. He, alongside some other colleagues, talk about Johnny possibly proposing to his girlfriend. At home, Ted and Johnny watch Flash and get high, and they also discuss him proposing. Laurie, played by Mila Kunis, who will forever be Meg from Family Guy. It's, he went very safe with his cast and picked people who he works with all the time. She's in a lot as well. She was in Honey We Shrunk Ourselves. Oh, Honey We Shrunk Ourselves, not Honey We Shrunk. Was there a film called Stewie Griffin: The Untold Story? She's Meg. She's Meg Griffin. Like, come on, everyone knows. She gets home from work and they make weird name puns to do with Brewski. When a storm scares Johnny that night, Ted runs into his and Thunder Bunny going to bed. Can we sing the Thunder Bunny song without getting copyrighted, do you think? I don't know if they copyrighted that.
There's no music.
You Thunder, you can suck my dick. You can't get me Thunder because you just got spots. Yeah, there you go. Laurie heads to work the next day where her co-workers mock Johnny for being with Ted. Her boss, Rex, previously seen on the channel in the Happy Time Murders, Joel McHale. Obviously, he's a douche. His characters are always douchebag, but he's real life. So Rex bothers her and wastes her time in his office by harassing her with compliments. Laurie and Johnny go out for a fancy dinner, and in a flash, see how the two met when he accidentally hit her while he was dancing. As I said to you, he probably could still do that because obviously Marky Mark. She's disappointed when she isn't given an engagement ring, but some tacky earrings that he says he got from the mall. She asks him to get Ted to move out, but he defends his to not kick him out. When they get home, Ted has had some hookers over to watch Jack and Jill, the Adam Sandler film. The film isn't actually in it, so I can't say that this is the first appearance of Adam Sandler. One of them also took a shit on the floor, which was interesting. Johnny and Ted go to an aquarium where Johnny tells him he needs to move out, which he reluctantly agrees to, but with Johnny's help. Ted goes to a job interview at a grocery store where he somehow insults the manager and gets hired. He literally does everything to not get a job, but gets hired anyway. After he and Johnny go to the park where a grown-up Donnie, told you it was important I mentioned him, played by Giovanni. He's got a very recognisable face, but I can't remember where I've seen him before. Gone in 60 Seconds, Million Ways to Die in the West, another Seth MacFarlane film. That's probably where I've seen him. Saving Private Ryan, Avatar, Avatar the Way of Water, Avatar 3, really? Avatar 5? Fucking hell. They just confirmed he's going to be in it. Alright, sure. That's a lifelong commitment. One of them, Avatar 5 said 2031. Jesus. And his son Robert, played by Aidan Minks, didn't know who he was, went in his films. He is in Cobra Kai, which is a popular Netflix show that I...
Sorry.
Pardon. That I couldn't get into. So if you like it, that's what he's from. They ask Johnny if he wants to sell them Ted, which Johnny, of course, declines. Ted moves into his new apartment, which of course is a shithole. Lives above a Chinese restaurant. And the next day, Laurie thanks him for moving Ted out. I should say, thank Johnny for moving Ted out. Ted at his job flirts with another cashier, Tammy Lynn, played by Jessica Barth. She is in Ted and Ted 2. Ted 3 is in her fucking credits.
What?
Oh, we've got to go down the rabbit hole.
When?
I don't know. Ted Wiki will be released in 2022. I do hope that comes out in 2022. Ted 3 isn't happening, but a prequel is. Ted prequel series has already wrapped production. Oh no. I'm dreading that. Anyway, and after work, he calls Johnny to come over. And Johnny makes a bullshit excuse to get out of work. The two get high and watch Cheers interview tapes, another American show I have no idea about. Johnny makes guesses on Tammy's name. Ted doesn't tell him, just says white trash name. When there aren't enough registers open, Ted's boss finds Ted banging Tammy in the storage room. When he confronts him, he gives him a promotion. So yeah, this boss doesn't give a fuck, apparently. it does not have any standards, and I hope it's not a chain. I wish it was that easy to get a promotion anywhere, or even a job by insulting the person who's interviewing you. So yeah, this is what we spoke about earlier that Amelia covered the mic for. When Ted leaves work, he is met by Donnie, and Ted makes a very badly timed Sinead O'Connor joke. Of course, Sinead O'Connor, as of recording, passed away like a few days ago, I think. Or even a week, I should say.
Yeah, because she was only 54, I think.
She's relatively young. She was 57.
Oh, okay, so I was a bit off.
Yeah. As you can understand, very poorly timed. The two of them, that means not Sinead O'Connor, but Ted and Tammy, go on a double date with Johnny and Laurie. Tammy, because she's a ditzy blonde, misinterprets something Laurie says, causing her and Ted to storm out. At home, Laurie reveals she knows about the lie, and he begs for a second chance. He does that a lot in this film because he's a piece of shit. Two go to a house party which is being thrown by douchebag Rex, and he and Johnny go off together where they talk about Laurie. Rex also just like brags about random shit that's in his house, including apparently Lance Armstrong's testicle that he had frozen and encased in bronze. Johnny confronts him for how he treats Laurie at work, and Ted calls to say Sam Jones, who is the actor for Flash Gordon, who actually makes his appearance in this film, is at his party. Johnny's conflicted about either going to Ted's or staying with Laurie, but chooses Ted and asks for to cover for him. And Rex just says, I'm going to fuck your girlfriend, because he's a douchebag. Johnny rushes over to Ted's, where he gets to meet Sam, and he's completely starstruck and has a weird dream about the two of them. He sort of imagines himself as being part of the film, and as I said to you, that's basically how the film looks. And it is super fucking weird. You didn't even know it was a real thing. It is 80s as fuck, may I just say. Like, it's super flashy, it's got Brian Blessed in it. Did I say flashy? Oh, very funny. Like, it's literally like dudes being pulled around strings. It is absolutely fucking garbage film, but it's iconic. And of course, the song by Queen for the soundtrack. Banger. So yeah, Sam, Ted, and Johnny all do shots together, and Sam decides to offer them some cocaine to do with him. They all get high and start doing things like karaoke and plans to open a restaurant together. Sam punches a hole through the wall, angering a man who is unfortunately named Ming. Of course, another character from Flash, which sends him a bit over the edge. Robert Wu is a big character. He does the stereotypical Asian voice, which I'm not going to impersonate. He does a lot of Family Guy. Like, as I said earlier, there's a lot of things that he does where, no, anything that Seth MacFarlane does just has to have the same cast. Sure, it's good to have people who you know you can work with. Like, if you've got a certain team of actors that you know and that you can work really well with them, fine. But it's a bit much. Also, he did the voice of some civilians from Resident Evil 6, which you can watch on the channel.
I think the cast gelled really well.
The cast did do really well, but it probably helps that they all know each other. Guy. So yeah, big fight breaks out because obviously Sam sort of goes a bit apeshit on Ming. Later, Guy and his boyfriend Jared in an uncredited cameo by Ryan Reynolds. What an interesting film for him to appear in first on this channel. I wouldn't lie, I thought it would have been Deadpool or something like that.
It's the fact that he wasn't given one to say.
No, he just sort of shows up. pulls a few faces and then leaves. He does it twice, may I add. So yeah, those two are at the party, and Guy introduces Jared. Johnny suddenly realizes he needs to go, just as Laura shows up to Ted's, and she tells him that he needs to leave, and she drives away. Ted comes outside and tells Johnny that it's his fault that... No. Ted comes outside, and Johnny tells him it's his fault that Laurie has pretty much broken up with him, and he says he can't see Ted anymore. They did break up, I should clarify. A week later, Rex asks Laurie on a date, which she is persuaded into, in return leaving her alone, because he's a prick. Ted heads to Johnny's hotel room he's staying in to talk to him, and tells him that Rex is going out with Laurie. Johnny doesn't believe him and thinks that he's just winding him up, because those two are pieces. Nearly everyone in this film is a piece of shit. Like, regardless of how you look at it, everyone in this film is a cunt. So yeah, Johnny doesn't believe him. They argue before a fight breaks out, with Ted somehow winning. He drops a TV on Johnny's penis, which is enough. It's enough to kill Matthew Lillard in Scream to have it dropped on his head, but dropping it on his body, fine. The two apologise to one another and make up, and they decide to interrupt the date and get Laurie back. Ted and Johnny meet with the singer Norah Jones. I don't know any of her songs, but she also sung the main theme for this film, which I believe almost won an Academy Award, but lost out to Skyfall by Adele for Best Original Song in a Film. I still do not know who she is, even though I'm looking at her right now. Yeah, genuinely, I haven't got a fucking clue. Norah Jones, who introduces Johnny to sing a song for Laurie. Johnny badly recites the theme song from Octopussy, which played on the night they met. The crowd hates it, and when a guy rushes the stage, he just picks the microphone stand up and hits him in the face with it.
I think that was the funniest bit.
Rex after offers her a drink, which she turns down and she leaves them alone. When I say her, obviously Laurie. Ted goes to Laurie's house and tries to talk to her about how much Johnny loves her. Ted and Johnny meet to one another. She heads out, leaving Ted alone in her house, and when he opens the door, Donnie and Robert kidnap him. Laurie goes to a cafe where Johnny is waiting for her to talk, and he does his best to make amends with her, even if it means the two do not get back together before he quickly leaves. Donnie and Robert, in the meantime, take Ted to the house where he sees that they are stalkers with pictures of him all over the wall. Donnie explains to Ted how his obsession came to be and how he would do anything for Robert. When Donnie leaves, Robert rips off one of Ted's ears, so he offers to play hide and seek. And when Robert starts counting, Ted attempts to make a run for it, stapling his ear back on in the process. He does, however, find a phone, which he uses to try and call Johnny, who has been picked up by Laurie at the time. He answers to a panicked Ted, who is suddenly cut off by Donnie, and Johnny uses the address given to him by Donnie earlier to try and track him down. Ted continues to try and escape in the meantime, ending up in the basement, which is full of destroyed teddy bears. Donnie and Robert stuff Ted in a sack and attempt to drive away with him as Laurie and Johnny arrive, spotting them away. They pursue them as Ted uses a tire iron to smash the back window and climb out to jump to their car, but Donnie hits the brakes, launching Ted back into their car. Ted puts the bag over Donnie's head, causing him to crash and leaving a tear in Ted's side. Foreshadowing, ladies and gentlemen. They all run on foot into a baseball field, and when Robert can't fit through a gap, Johnny just punches him and knocks him out. Donnie chases after Ted, who climbs up on some light rigging. When Teddy slips, Donnie grabs him, tearing him even more until he splits in half and falls to the ground. Johnny and Laurie rush to him as Donnie flees, only to watch as the magic fades from Ted, leaving him as a regular destroyed teddy bear. They all rush home to try and repair Ted, which unfortunately fails to work, and repairing him, and they're defeated. And of course, as Johnny sleeps, Laurie makes a wish just as a shooting star passes over. The next morning, Johnny goes to Ted's body, where Ted awakens pretending to be mentally handicapped. I won't use the word they used in the film. And the three of them rejoice where Laurie reveals she wished for Ted to come back. Johnny decides to ask for Laurie to marry him, which of course she accepts. Which lasts for no time because she does not return in the sequel. The two get married by Sam Jones. Tammy assaults a woman for the bouquet. The narrator, who I will now has been played by Patrick Stewart the entire time. Of course, Star Trek. Everyone knows Patrick Stewart. Tells us about what happened to the rest of the cast. Importantly, Rex has randomly died, and Donnie was arrested, and apparently Robert became Taylor Lautner. End of the movie. So yeah, that was Ted. Ted 1, of course. What do you think, though?
As I say, I love it. It's my favourite.
Yeah.
It goes right at the top of the list.
Well, it went third place for you. It made you lol. For me, I enjoyed it. It's definitely not a bad film. It's still high up on my list, but I have films that are better than it still, that I enjoy more, I should say. There's not much else to add. It just felt like a film of Family Guy that wasn't Family Guy. It's just got all the same cast. It was funny. The CG on the bear was pretty good. It wasn't bad. It's still not bad for how old it is, being 11 years old. But yeah, that was Ted, of course. I've been your host, Purple Midnight 8, joined by Amelia or the Obsidian Nook. You find all our links in the description. It's my turn next week. I think I might know what I'm doing, but I won't spoil it for you. In the meantime, we'll see you next time.